All right, guys. Very good evening. Once again, for the folks who just joined in, very good evening, guys. My name is Prateek, and thank you for joining in today. I'll be having a couple of folks from Genpact. Gargi Chaudhary, you can see her name in the list. She has already joined in. She's a senior manager with Genpact, and she is part of Risk Academy team within Genpact, and we'll also be having one more person, Mr. Jugnu Sharma. He's little delayed. He's an AVP, and he'll be joining in a few minutes. Guys, I can see a lot of folks have joined in. As requested, please go ahead and give us your. We already know your name because we can see that in the list. But if you see waiting for name against your name, please right click on your name and put your name there so that we know whom we are addressing to. It's very important for us to kind of quickly understand about your profile as well. So if you can just write one liner about your education profile, education and professional profile, that will be really helpful for us to kind of understand what kind of audience we are addressing to. All right, guys. So we'll have we'll try to make it as possible. What the kind of format that we like to follow for such a webinar is that any question at any point of time is fine. You can type in your question, or you can verbally ask questions as well. But until you have a question, I would recommend, or I would request you guys to remain on mute so that we do not pick up any background noise. So please, guys, remain on mute until you have a question. You can always type in your question as well in the chat window. It's very easy to do so. So, guys, with that, let's get started. I've seen a few of the folks have already shared their profile. Shri, Sukanya. May I request other folks as well to quickly type in your one liner about your education and professional background. That will be really helpful for us to understand the kind of people we are addressing to. Hi, Kritesh. And at any point of time, if there is any audio issue that you guys are facing, do let us know. But normally, if you face any audio issue, just log in back, and that normally resolves it. It takes like a less than a minute to log in back. So, all right, Kritesh, equity research analyst with Genpact. That's wonderful. Welcome. Hi, Ronak. Alrighty. It's just going to wait for 2 more minutes for you guys to kind of give me your your background. Otherwise, we'll get started. All right, Ronak, you're still pursuing an MBA from this planning second semester. Okay, I'm assuming that you also have some kind of background. I mean, bachelor's background as well. That's right. Okay. All right. All right. So you are a data analyst in Google. That's great, Abhishek. All right. Good. All right, guys. One more minute and then we'll get started. Please go ahead and give me your profiles, guys, if you have not done that already. It will be really helpful for us to understand the kind of people we are addressing. All right, Nishant, how about your profile, Nishant? And if you can send it to everyone, that will be great. All right, guys, let's get started then. Guys, you can all keep typing your profile. Again, as I said, my name is Prateek. I'm from Ivy, one of the co-founding directors there. Personally speaking, I have around 12 years of management consulting experience, and I'm a computer engineer, and I've done my management grad from Texas. Worked for a few financial technology, financial management consulting firms in the US, and I'm one of the operational lead at Ivy, and I'm also closely related to this program that we have launched with Genpact. All right, with that, you see, I think most of you know about this program. The name of the program is Quantitative Risk Analyst Professional Program, and it's a very, very right from scratch. It's been designed with industry relevance, with all the industry experts within risk analytics domain, and so that's why we call it as a truly industry endorsed 3 months weekend executive program. And it is geared towards people who have some amount of experience. So that's why it's an executive program for working professional, and the whole objective is to prepare um, senior financial risk analytics experts or professionals. When I say senior, we are not looking to prepare the freshers from this program, but we are looking to prepare level two, senior resources for financial risk domain. Hey guys, am I audible to everyone? Loud and clear?
I can hear you, Prateek.
Okay, great. Hey, Shrish and Ronak, if I think I'm audible to most of the folks. So if I may request you, if you have any audio issues, if I may request you to log in back, and do not forget to choose computer audio while logging back. All right, great then. Excellent. Okay. Now, so this is the rough agenda that we have. But again, as I said, please feel free to ask question. And if we think that the question is relevant for the section that we're talking about, we'll take care of that question right then and there. Otherwise, we'll address that question in the right section. But no question is a bad question. Feel free to ask question in the middle of the session as well. We have not kept a separate question and answer session at the end. We can take care of the questions right at the middle of the sessions as well. So this is what we would try to cover. Why financial risk analytics has become such a hot area, hot career, and a hot domain for a lot of consulting companies, financial institutions to invest in. What exactly it is, some industry data points, and who's it for. Some of the benefits of this particular program. How do you apply? And then at the end, again, we'll open the floor for question answers. So lot of you may already know about this, but just to reiterate some of the for some of the folks who may not know, why is there a boom in risk analytics industry or financial risk analytics specifically? So it all started with it all started before 2008, but it really went onto a crazy growth phase after 2008 because up until 2008, the banks became very, very greedy, and because of which they started taking extreme amount of risk, which led to very, very famous banking fall, with Lehman Brothers, and a lot of all the financial institutions faced this banking fall in 2008 2009 period. So which led to, because the banks had become very, very greedy, they started to take extreme risk, so which led to governments, central governments from across the world, US, Europe, Asian governments, all the big governments started to become very, very strict. So they came out with strict regulations, global risk strict regulation, and country-wise strict regulations, financial risk regulations, and they came out with strict in the sense that they were complex, and all these financial large, too big to fail financial institutions had to follow these regulations. Some of the famous regulations which really led to a risk analytics boom were Basel laws like Basel 123. Now they're talking of fourth Basel law as well. CCAR, which is a very US specific, CCAR and DFAST. are very very US specific regulations within financial risk. So so these are very complex in the sense, the financial institutions have to report the amount of risk that they are taking by providing loans and credit facilities to any of their customers. And they have to, just like they report accounting statements, financial statements, so they also have to now report financial risk to the government, so, and to the all these central governments. So because of these complex regulations, the bank's profitability were challenged, because of huge amount of fines that they faced, and because of the extra competition that they faced from newer and newer entities, and because of which, the banks were forced to build financial risk models, validate them, revalidate them, validate in the sense internally validate, because you see, if they create a model, a risk model, when I say model, meaning, just like an equation, that hey, government, we are taking this much amount of risk, right? And we expect that this much amount of credit that we have given out may become default, and if they become default, this will be our exposure, this will be our loss, and this is the probability that, these kind of credits that we have given may become defaulted. So, all of that were reported, and were had to be sent to the government, right? And uh, before sending to the government, so the government said, ensure that whatever you're sending to us is has been validated by your people, and then has been validated by a third party validators as well. So that's why validation and revalidation came into the picture. And banks are also forced to take very very timely actions based on any fault finding that governments found, or anyone found in their validation of their risk model that they created. So because of, all of this, it created huge opportunity for people who actually understood the quantitative finance, and also understood the regulations. And this particular program that we have designed with Genpact specifically talk of this. It addresses the quantitative. I mean, it aims to prepare people who have strong quantitative understanding, as well as understanding of how all these financial risk regulations affect large financial institutions. So that's the whole idea behind this particular program. Hey, Shrish, I was just responding to Shree. I think he's facing some audio issue. So guys, again, I'm repeating myself. If there is any audio issue, please log in back. Normally it takes care of it. Um, Already. So so because of all these reasons, because of mainly the banks became too greedy, and they started taking risk. Government came up with laws. Then banks were forced to build risk models, validate, revalidate, and this validate, revalidate document, and all of this created huge amount of opportunity for consulting companies like Genpact, McKinsey, like Accenture, like so many consulting companies came up with this risk analytics service line, which led to a huge requirement for people who actually understood financial risk pretty well, and who also had quantitative background. Quantitative background is important because when we say model, right? So these models are statistical models, because you look at the historic data, you look at macro figures, you look at internal financial institutions figures, and then you create these models. So that's why it created huge opportunity for people who had quantitative background as well. All right, see, I think you are joined in. I'm going to mute you. All right. Now, a lot of people ask me, hey guys, again, I'm going to ask you, please remain on mute until you have a question. So, a lot of people ask me, what exactly is quantitative risk analytics? So, quantitative risk analytics involves the use of quantitative models, that means statistical methods, financial risk understanding, which is the domain hardcore. Financial risk is the domain of this particular domain of financial risk, statistical methods, and the tools, software tools. This is also very important because obviously no one does manual calculations, and the data is just too large, too huge to do it manually. Okay, so that's what it involves: quantitative models, statistical methods, financial risk, and tools. So that there are tools like SAS. You can do it in R. You can do it in so many such similar tools. The idea is that we want to address the challenging and important issues associated with big financial data. Okay. So specifically when we say risk, so our focus is towards financial risk, but banks also have huge amount of other data, and they leverage that data for many efficiency gains, marketing gains, and so on and so forth. But we'll not talk about that per se. Alrighty. So quantitative risk involves credit risk, regulatory compliance, capital planning, and forecasting. So all of this is also built into the program. Um, this is a few quick data points on the industry. Uh, Global risk analytics market offers immense potential for, again repeating myself, for anyone who has good quantitative background, typically, and has understanding of financial risk. Financial risk analytics is expected to become a 50 to 51 billion dollar market globally. So $50 billion market could be, say, so India complete outsourcing, end-to-end outsourcing industry stands around $120 billion. Okay, so it's almost half of that. And India is strategically poised to become the preferred location. I mean, it's actually already a preferred location for outsourcing of risk analytics services. Remember, I spoke about validation, revalidation, building those models. So all of those are technical, requires huge amount of understanding of financial risk, a good amount of understanding of quantitative risk. So, hey guys, can you all hear me now? Yeah, sorry about that. There was a little bit of network fluctuation there.
Yes, Prateek.
All right, good. Sorry about that. Okay. Again, as I said, it has become a huge. Hey, Jugu, welcome. All right. So again, as I was saying, preferred location for risk analytics services, just because we are pretty good. Typically, Indians are considered very good with mathematics, creating mathematical model, and typically Indians are also considered good in financial understanding as well. So it's going to retain its position, number one position through 2020. And by the way, these all figures are from NASSCOM Crystal report that they jointly came out with. Um, Indian risk analytics industry is expected to quadruple, increase by 4 times to $2.5 billion industry by 2020. And in terms of number of people that would be hired, would be around 15,000 by 2020, and it's around 3 times more than currently employed. So anyway, so all the data, what I'm trying to say is that all the data is indicating that risk analytics is going to become a huge area. It's already a good area, but it's going to become even larger than what it is right now in the coming few years. And it's a short to medium term prospects are very, very nice. Any other point that Jugnu or Gargi, do you want to add to the slide at all about the risk analytics industry? Because you guys are actually from the industry. So anything that you would like to add, Jugnu or Gargi? I saw Jugnu joining. I think yeah, Jugnu is there.
Yeah, hey Prateek. Yeah, I just joined.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry for
Hey guys,
being
by
a
the way,
bit late.
Jugnu is AVP with Genpact, as I said at the beginning, from the risk analytics, financial services analytics vertical. Yes, please, Jugnu. Anything that you would want to add?
Um, no, what I would like to add, just want to give some industry perspective that in the recent years, In terms of the service lines, as a business, we prioritize some of the service lines, and those are the service lines wherein we are getting more and more business, every month, every day, and we have been able to procure huge lot of business in the last 3 years in the area of risk, and especially with respect to quantitative risk management, developing some of those models, doing reporting, whether it is related to Basel or some other regulatory requirements. So from the industry perspective as well, obviously seeing a number like what it would be in 2020 is something, but looking at the business coming to you from those particular areas is a very good testimony to the fact that this is really happening, and it's not expected to happen in 2020. It has already started happening in say 3-4 years down the ago, and it will continue to happen. So it has a lot of prospect for new quantitative risk analysts who want to come and acquire these skill sets and work in the industry.
All right, good. Thank you. Excellent. Um, these are some of the companies, as per NASCOM and CRISIL, which are working in risk analytics within India. So you would notice that there are four categories. Pure play analytics providers, like Mu Sigma and so on and so forth. Integrated IT BPO like Genpact, Cognizant, and TCS and Capgemini and so on and so forth. Then there are strategic consulting firms or pure play consulting firms as well. By the way, this Oliver Wyman is also part of Genpact. Companies like McKinsey, Deloitte, Accenture, they have a very good team for risk analytics services. And then all the financial institutions, be it any bank, any global bank, or even Indian banks, so they have to follow risk analytics. All these risk analytics guidelines, most of the Indian banks follow the Basel norms, so they have to, I mean, most of the European banks also follow Basel. Any American bank has to follow CCAR, DFAST, and those kind of regulations. So all these financial institutions have to have in-house risk analysts, quantitative risk analysts who are building those models, help validating those models. So all I think all these different kind of companies which are into risk analytics, into any kind of analytics or consulting services, have huge team for risk analytics. Now, so that was about the industry, guys. Again, feel free to ask questions should you have any questions on the industry part. Now, I'm going to talk specifically about the Risk Academy, Genpact's Risk Academy, and our association with Genpact Risk Academy, and what this program is all about. Okay. So our association, or in fact, Genpact Risk Academy, started with in the year of 2012 or 2013, somewhere around that time. So we conducted a lot of batches with Genpact Risk Academy for level 1 resources, both in India as well as in abroad, specifically in the US. And we continue to do so. I mean, we have trained a lot of people within for level 1 financial risk. And when I say level 1, meaning these are entry level financial risk analysts, and typically hired directly from colleges from across India, with some kind of I mean, with various different education background, engineers and MSCs and so on and so forth, and then trained on financial risk analysis fundamentals. And now, in 2016, we decided to extend this partnership and launch a level 2 quantitative risk analytics executive program, specifically designed for working professionals who have some kind of quantitative background or inclination towards quant. So that was the whole objective behind designing this. And the idea is that actually idea came from within Genpact only, because of the requirement that they saw and so forth. So Jugnu, may I ask you to add something here, and probably the next couple of slides you may want to take it, Jugnu?
Uh, yeah, sure. So, you know, just to let everybody know that, like Prateek mentioned, that we started on this journey in 2012-13. At that point in time, the idea was that we want to uh, leverage Ivy to help us with certain trainings, and those trainings were in-house, for the for the employees who were already part of Genpact, and those were trainings to get them equipped at the L1 level, which is at the beginners level, or maybe just one level above. But we saw that that program worked really well for us. People who went through that program really delivered well on the requirements on the risk side, and basis the feedback that we got, we designed in collaboration with IB, this particular program. Obviously, IB is going to run these programs, but it has a lot of input from Genpact side, and now we are looking for people who are at an intermediate level, and then who are trying to get into the area of analytics, especially the risk analytics, some types of model building. So basically, it has graduated from L1 to L2 level, and we are looking for some senior folks who can join this program, who have an inclination towards analytics, as well as some bit of say domain understanding of risk and of the financial world. And so if you have strong analytical skills or interest towards that, probably at an intermediate level, not at the beginner level, it would be a great platform for students to join in.
Jugnu, do you want to cover this? Who's it for?
Yeah, sure. So like I mentioned, there are three types of skill sets that are required to be a good, risk analyst. One is the domain side of it. The second is the analytical approach, and third is the statistical or model building techniques. So if you are someone who carries experience from the BFSI domain or BFS domain, and you know about the financial products, you know the industry, the various parts of how a bank works or how a financial institution works, starting from marketing side of it to collections to risk management, so on and so forth. Whether you acquired that knowledge while you were in IT and you were working on as a functional consultant from IT side, or a person who built platforms for BFSI, and then you have acquired that knowledge. So that domain knowledge is one piece to it. The second piece is the analytical bent of mind. If you have inclination towards logics and inclination towards how a framework can be developed, which is more than it's easy to call call analytical abilities, as we call them in a consolidated way. So if you are analytical, and the lastly, if you are interested in developing some of those, taking those analytical abilities along with some of the statistical knowledge to develop some of the models on the regulatory side, where PD, LGD, EAD, different types of models that work. Apart from this, stress testing, etc., a lot happens. So these are the three core skill sets required. Now, even if you have one or two of these, you can develop the third one, or you can develop the other two, and then I would suggest that people who have either of these, and then I would say inclination, or they have some experience in this area, probably it is designed for those people, because it is not at a beginner level, it is at an intermediate level. So I think those are the few points that I would like to mention, that who is it for.
Okay, all right. So, Jugnu?
Yeah. So there are a lot of benefits, I think, but the 5 key benefits that we would like to talk in the short span of time is the first one is that this program is endorsed by Genpact, and when we are saying Genpact, it's like it's industry endorsed. It's not a academic program that we have just designed, which will give you some understanding of how to develop a model or a statistical technique. This is something which we the curriculum has been designed basis the requirements that we are seeing in the market, or what kind of people do we need who can who can be ready to work from the day one as they get into a particular stream of risk. So that's the best part of it, that it's an industry endorsed program. So that is something that you can see as one of the greatest benefit. Two, this will give you opportunity, and then as I mentioned, because this is industry endorsed, what it essentially is saying that there are requirements, and there is a reason that Genpact is tying up with Ivy, that we want to hire people in the future, and obviously we will be looking at the candidates very closely throughout the program, not just like we are having a dialogue now. We will continuously be evaluating the applications, we will be doing the interviews, we will be assessing how they are doing during the program, and we will be keeping a very close eye on the candidates who are doing well. And obviously at the end of it, Genpact's interest would be, if there are requirements within Genpact, there would be an opportunity for folks completing this program to join us. So, and apart from Genpact as well, there would be other organizations wherein you would be eligible to join in the area of risk analytics. But definitely, because Genpact is a partner for this program, we would definitely look at the candidates, and throughout, not just at the end of the program, but throughout the journey, we will be having a dialogue and we will be assessing the candidates. Third is it's a classroom as well as a weekend kind of a program, doesn't interfere with your work schedule. Obviously it is designed for people who are working professionals. So I think and I think now people from other locations can also join into this program.
Yes, through online.
Prateek, if you would like to add more.
Absolutely. So, so we now have made it a little more flexible in the sense, because we got a lot of interest from people who had very good profile from outside of Bangalore as well. So we have now made it a little more flexible in the sense that they can join the classes online. And we just mandated it that, you got to attend at least 2 weekends classes, which are pre-planned, which those 2 weekends are in Bangalore specifically. But other than that, you can attend the program online as well. Yeah, Chukro.
Right. So so coming to the fourth benefit, and the style of teaching is changing over the last say couple of years, and I think still very few people have been able to ace that that how should you impart knowledge so that people who are acquiring that knowledge are able to deliver the goods in a very short span of time, or they doesn't have too much of a learning curve. And I think the case studies which probably you would be taught during this program are going to be from the real world. Obviously we will be sanitizing the client information, but those case studies would be something that Genpact has delivered to our clients in real time environment, and you would be getting a taste of what is that you would be working on, what kind of projects you would be working on once during this course. And probably once you transition from this course into the real-time environment, you will not find much of a change in terms of kind of projects or reports you would be working on. So that's a great advantage. It's not, as I mentioned, it's not an academic program. It's an industry endorsed program, which is particularly targeted towards making people industry ready, so that they can join a company like Genpact and start delivering. Their learning curves would be very short, if at all. So that's one of the benefits. And lastly, as I mentioned, that Genpact would be involved. SMEs from Genpact would be providing lectures. They would be doing assessments. Obviously, once you show your interest, you file your application, you will be going through some interview rounds, and Genpact SMEs would be involved there as well, which is a huge thing. So I think these are some of the benefits, and if I have to choose, say in one word, the program intends to make you industry ready so that you can join an organization and start delivering with a very, very short learning curve.
Sure, that's very well said,
Yeah, and
Gargi.
adding to what Jugnu mentioned, I think this is not the first program that we are doing with Ivy. Like you have already heard Jugnu and Prateek saying that we have run several batches with Ivy to really make the industry ready talent pool and make them market ready. And like Jugnu mentioned, the case studies, etc., which are there, which you will see in the classroom, you will resonate well when you actually work on the production floor. So we have taken samples, sanitized them, and have incorporated in the learning plan, so that once you are into the production floor, you really don't feel there is any difference in terms of the real life and the classroom that you have attended already. Yeah.
Excellent point, Gargi. So basically everything points to the fact that the industry relevance was one of the main core philosophy behind building the entire content and entire course framework for this particular program. Any question anyone has on this benefits or anything regarding the program, guys? I want to go to the content as well. Talk about what is it, what is covered and what is not. But basically, again, just repeating a couple of points. The idea is that we want to talk about the cutting edge, what is required today, what would be required tomorrow, kind of concepts in quantitative risk analytics world. So that's the main uh, uh, one of the main highlights of the program. You also get an opportunity to network with folks who are domain experts, industry subject matter experts, SMEs within their own realm of topics. So it's a great networking opportunity as well with those guys, and it's yeah, I'm going to talk about the content as well about the program in the next couple of slides. The kind of faculty team that we have built with Genpact includes folks. I mean, not in terms of education profile. And education profile has become obviously has to be great of these guys. So the people from IM, ISI, and whatnot. But the more important thing about those guys who are involved in this program is their core experience within this particular field. Because rather a new field and people who are within the faculty team has great amount of experience in this. So again, as I said, flexibility is there. Now, talking about the content a little bit here. So this is the framework, and again, we'll talk about the specific of the content as well. But these are the four fundamental pillars which guided the content. Okay, regulatory stress testing, uh, risk management frameworks, various risk models, how do we build and validate them, and regulations, right? So this is, stress testing is the overall idea that, how do we do these financial institutions, banking institutions, how do they do stress testing? And when we say stress testing, really not happening the bank's wall with a hammer, but stress testing is on their financial risk that they are assuming that they're taking by providing various different credits to various different customers. So what kind of stress testing, and there are a lot of regulations behind that and a lot of models that they have to build. So these are the four fundamental pillars, of this particular program content. Okay, and specifically talking about, um, so altogether 116 hours plus 38 hours. So these 38 hours are optional primer. Optional primer in the sense that if someone has very good amount of statistical background and has worked on SAS extensively, then they can skip this module, this particular module, and they can join the program later. But I would still recommend, people who, even if you have worked on statistical modeling and SAS, I would still say that, please go ahead and join the optional module as well. There's no extra cost for it. So it starts with that optional primer module, which basically covers statistical modeling, and specifically how do we do all these, how do we build these models in on SAS. So it covers base SAS and advanced SAS portion as well. Then it goes into the main core areas of credit risk analytics. Okay, starts with credit risk foundation, takes a deep dive into risk modeling fundamentals. Then it goes into regulations, Then it goes into model validation, and then it helps you to create advanced credit risk models. What I've also done for you guys is that I have a copy of my brochure open as well, specifically talking about what exactly in terms of content which is covered. And again, you guys, you can if you have ever made an inquiry for this program, then I'm sure you must have gotten this course brochure as well. So as I was saying, in 116 hours, the core module, we start with credit risk foundation. We talk of various different things here. Basically, we're talking of various different verification frameworks within credit risk. Then we go into risk modeling. So the first thing is the foundation. Then we go to modeling fundamentals, various different models. Then we take a deep dive, in the sense we go a little advanced, talk of advanced models as well, like decision trees, clustering, building probability default and rare event modeling, and variety of different business cases. Again, that's one of the things that you have heard from Gargi and Jugnu as well, that this is one of the main areas that Genpact brings in a lot of value addition in terms of bringing in real life business cases to this program. Then we also talk of all these different advanced modeling techniques. We give you an overview as to how neural networks work and does not work in risk analytics, SVM, and how they're used in risk analytics industry. Then one of the very important thing that we cover in this program is the regulations. So there is one regulation which is missing here, but which is part of the program, which is not mentioned specifically here, which is Dodd-Frank Act, which is also part of the program, DFAST and Dodd-Frank Act. So Basel 1, 2, 3 pillars, and FSA, ARPA, CCAR, very US specific regulations. Then we go to model validation, very very important concept, because you see, when you build a model, right? Let's say a bank has built a model that has to be validated by a third party provider and also internally. So a lot of validation regulations are also there. There is a very specific validation regulation, SR 11.7. So how do you do all of model validation using based on these regulations? So we'll talk about that. And then there is model documentation. So how have you created the model? How have you validated the model? Everything has to be documented in a specific format. So that's also a very important part of. These are all practical studies. Practical points. Because once you step into the quantitative risk model, you just can't say that, oh, I built this fancy model. There has to be someone who's validated it, and everything has to be documented well, so that any person who looks into the model can understand what you have done. So that model documentation, although it looks like we're just filling a Word document, but it's not. It goes beyond that. Then we go into advanced credit risk models, like LGD calculations, with variety of different LGD calculations, EAD calculation, and EAD case studies and data sets. So that's that kind of brings to the end of the program in terms of course content. Any questions on the course content specifically, guys? I know some of the folks are working in analytics, some of the folks are working in finance, some of the folks are working in reporting as well. So any questions in terms of content, guys? It would be a good time to ask. Any questions on the content? Any questions on? Yeah, Nishant, you have a question, Nishant?
Yeah, yeah. So I just wanted to ask. So apart from documentation, do we have reporting requirements, reporting frameworks also included in the course, or it's not the part of the course?
Reporting frameworks, meaning what kind of reporting frameworks are we talking about?
Meaning we are building a model,
Right.
and we are doing some statistical analysis in between. So
Right.
so do we have any frameworks where we'll show the results
Absolutely.
before building the model to the client? Okay.
Okay, so yeah, because without which it becomes almost impossible to document also. And how would you validate? Validation is on the basis of what you have reported.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So that's what I just wanted to ask. So we should know exactly what needs to be presented to the client, which looks impactful, apart from the final documentation of the model.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yes,
Yeah,
that's yeah, yeah. For
yeah,
every business case study that we will work upon in this program, you'll also have to build a report, and you'll
yeah.
also have to present it. That is the assessment.
Mhm.
That is part of the assessment for this program. In all the
Okay.
Risk Academy programs that we have done, I mean level one as well that we have done for Genpact, presentation has been the core area, and without which we do not understand if the person has really understood the model, has really understood what
Yeah,
needs to be done in the model.
Yeah. Thanks.
How about others, guys? Any other question on the content or anything? The next slide is very simple. Again, we'll open the question and answer. Again open for question and answer later. But the next slide is how do you apply? It's very simple. There is the first step is to check the profile. Okay, so you share your profile on this email ID which is given here and which is also given on our course website page info@ivpostcode.com. So when you send your resume, then we check the resume based on the eligibility criteria. Eligibility criteria is very clearly mentioned that either some kind of quantitative background is something that we look for, in the sense either experience or education in analytics or reporting or in or in finance, financial risk, any of such thing. Basically, we look for people who have good analytical brain, okay, or good quantitative background. So that's one of the things that we look for before we actually shortlist you for an online assessment. So the third step is that if you shortlist if the profile is shortlisted, then it goes. Then you are asked to appear for an online examination, and there is a syllabus for online examination. And once you are shortlisted, we share that as well. In online examination, we normally ask a little bit about finance, a little bit about statistics, a little bit about SAS and R as well, a little bit of SQL. The idea is that we're not looking for someone who can do pretty good in all the sections. If you are good in finance, you may do good in finance. And we'll be happy to have you in the program. If you're good in statistical modeling, you'll probably do well in statistical modeling concepts. So again, we'll be happy to hire you, hire in this sense, make you part of the program. And if you're good in, say, SAS or R as a tool or SQL as a tool as well, we'll be more than happy to look at your profile as well. So after the online assessment, so once the registration is done, then we ask you, then we will actually have a one-to-one interview with the shortlisted folks, people who actually cleared the online assessment, and then from there, we actually tell you, your the final decision. So that's a process, a very simple process. You share your profile and then online assessment and then interview. Yeah, Bindu Kumar, yes, we'll share the recording clip with you. Yeah, absolutely, no problem. All right, guys. Any other questions? So that brings us to the end of the agenda per se. So it's a good time to ask questions, guys. Anything? It becomes very difficult. Remember, it is difficult to get access to the kind of people that we have from within Genpact. So if there is any question, it'll be a good time to ask. All right, Shrish. Thank you for being very candid about it. Avnish, the course is starting in February. But the registration process and the seats, all of that is going on, and probably will go on till the next week, and then it'll close. So if you are interested, please do share across your profile at the earliest. Anyone else, guys? Any other question? Anyone?
Yeah, Prateek, I
Yes,
have
please.
one question.
Absolutely, please.
Yeah, just wanted to ask what kind of salaries we can expect after we get a job after doing this course.
Um, Again, there is no commitment from in terms of exact salary, this thing, but in general, what we have seen in level two, and Jugnu, please, please correct me if I'm wrong, but in general, what we have seen is around 10 lakhs is what normally we have seen for level two resources. Jugnu, am I very off, or am I in the right ballpark figure? Uh, okay. I mean, but yeah, it's around that, Nishan. But you see, the idea about
Okay.
salaries in specifically within risk analytics, what we have observed that the growth is pretty high.
Hmm.
the growth is very, very steep, So because there's
Okay.
a huge demand, and the stakes are very, very high, because anything which goes wrong in any of the statements that you report, the fines are huge. So so that's the reason why financial
Right.
institutions spend quite a money, quite a lot of amount
Right.
on actually having the right kind of team members.
Right.
Varun, you
Correct.
have a question?
Prateek,
Yeah, Varun.
yes. Is it like this course is, I mean, for those guys also, I mean, who want to make a switch like from their current profile?
Like what kind of profile, Varun?
See, I come from a telecom domain, and telecom is one of the part, I mean, of or studies of analytics also. But
Absolutely. But what are
I'm
you doing?
currently, yes, I'm currently into reporting. But
What kind of
there will
report?
be like different tools. This is the congestion we face, and mainly it is regarding to the performance of the network.
Okay. The idea is that normally we like to see. I mean, why don't you share your resume, and then we can actually have a discussion on it offline.
Okay, yeah. Just to give you one update about me, like I was doing one course with Jigsaw also. I mean, for SAS and R.
Huh?
So that would that help?
Yeah. I mean, you see, again, if you know SAS and R, it definitely helps. Definitely
Okay.
helps. No
So
question
and
about it.
for a newcomer like from a different domain, would you recommend?
I mean, why don't you share your profile? Let me see your education degree and what all you mention about the courses that you're doing currently
Sure,
as well, and then we can
sure.
have a discussion on it offline. Absolutely.
So shall I mail it to you? I mean, what is
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
ID?
I mean, you can mail it to me, and I'll give you my email ID. Uh, Plus, I'll also give you the. This is my email ID, but just so we have a track and we reply promptly. So this second email ID is the email ID where ideally you're supposed to share your profiles. Okay,
Oh, I cannot see your ID. Where
Prateek
is it?
at ivproschool.com. I have written in the chat window.
Okay. Okay, right. Sure. Right. Thank you.
Yeah, did you get it?
Sure. All right.
And then, Pratik, sorry, I think for some reason I was exited out of the meeting.
Oh,
But I think we were discussing two questions. One was around the salaries,
right, right,
and another was regarding, can you use this program to switch from, a telecom industry?
right, right,
So, with respect to salaries, obviously your existing experience will count a lot. And in terms of where you can start rather than giving you a flat number, all I can tell you is that people who have some experience in the area of risk analytics, developing PDLGD models, who understand the Basel or the other Dodd-Frank Act or other regulations that we have, I think you would be astonished to find that their salaries are pretty high, and 10 lakh is what probably what Pratik referred is kind of a very very uh, moderate one that we are giving you as a hint that that's the starting point wherein you
right,
can get in at an intermediate level.
right.
But if you gain those skills with some experience, probably you can move double or triple that very, very fast. So that's not a line. What I would suggest is don't look at salary, look at it as a long-term career, and obviously the rest will follow. The second is in terms of switching your career from telecom or other industry. I think till the time you have, obviously you have to learn three things: statistics, the domain knowledge of risk, and thirdly, do you have the analytical capabilities, or are you in a job which requires that? If you have one or two of those and inclination toward the third, or have inclination for two and you have one, probably I would say say go for it, you can definitely switch careers at an intermediary level. But if you feel that you have none of these, then probably you would require some more time or a longish course. But if you have say mathematics, you have done engineering, or you have done some economics course, or have the mathematical background and statistical background, or some domain knowledge, probably you can go for it. And the application process itself takes care of that. Well, when we are interviewing people, we make sure that the right candidates go in, so that they can reap the benefits out of the course.
Right. Very well.
Right. Thank you.
Very well. Very well. All right, guys. Good questions. Any further question that anyone else has? I know there are a lot of folks who have joined from within Genpact as well today. That's what I was told. I don't know if you guys have dropped out or not, but any question from guys who joined from within Genpact?
Uh, just wanted to ask about the price, the cost of the program.
So the cost, Vandana, is 94,500.
All right.
Yeah.
In case you clear it, right?
Yes. Yes.
You get enrolled for it.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyone else? By the way, we do have some scholarship fund as well from our corporate. So for people who do extremely well in the testing and in the interview, so that's also there. So just in case you're wondering. And we also obviously have loan facilities and all of that. We have a loan provider and all of that, and that is pretty smooth and that happens quickly. No collateral
Okay.
loans, by the way.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, guys. Any other questions? Anyone? No. All right. Great. Thank you, guys. Thank you for attending today's session, guys. Again, as I said, we have your information. We'll share the recording as well. And hey, Jugnu and Gargi, thanks a lot for your time. I know you guys are pretty busy, and I think you guys are still in the office. So thanks a lot for joining in at this hour. And everyone, guys, thanks a lot for all the questions. Feel free to reach out to us. You have our email IDs, you have our contact details. It's an opportunity, and it's a limited time opportunity in the sense, the batch starts pretty soon. So feel free to reach out or feel free to apply. If you have any questions about your profile, also I would say go ahead and apply. As at most, we'll just give you a feedback that whether it makes sense for you or not to kind of pursue the program. Thanks a lot, Jugnu. Thank you, Gargi.
Thanks, Prateek, and look forward to the applications. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks a lot, guys.